back to the support as a channel member, Biff Gimbal. I don't want to talk about the Champions League final. Most importantly, we won the Premier League last year, only losing one game, and very nearly won everything there was to win. That's as much detail as is needed. Now, we put the finishing touches to the squad, because this season we are going to win it all, including, at the end of this coming season, the Club World Cup, which will be our grand finale. We'll win that too. We're going to win everything. Hello and welcome to Club 3, Part 15 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode is our season review and transfer special at the end of... I mean, look, that's a successful season. 2 trophies, Premier League, Community Shield. By any definition, Man United would have been happy with that when I first arrived at the club. So we don't need to talk about any of the rest of it. Signing of the season went to Canizares, which, bearing in mind he was a last-minute panic buy, not too shabby, if I say so myself. Burrows, Moniz and Hendrick all coming in with better average ratings than him as well. And, I mean, Moniz took a little bit of a while to get going, but he's still only 20. It's worth losing the Champions League final to be able to experience a season of him becoming the best player in the history of the universe, which I think is what we're about to witness happening. Burrow's already an elite centre-back as well at 22. It's all good stuff. Obviously, we were expected to win the league. We did win the league. Comfortably. Only lost 1 game. City only lost 2. We would love to go invincible this coming season, but it's not the be-all and end-all. We want the trophies. You don't get a trophy for being invincible. There was a point that season where we looked like we could be invincible and finish second. That would be rubbish. We want the trophies. Reputation-wise, we've not changed. We're still a 4.5-star club. Money-wise, weirdly, some of the stuff has dropped. I guess because we had a couple of seasons out of the Champions League, some of our sponsorships have dropped a little bit, which has had a knock-on effect on corporate and hospitality and whatnot. But competition prize money has shot back up because we won the Premier League and got to the Champions League final. And hopefully finances are back to taking care of themselves as they are at any massive Champions League competitive club. This was our team of the year. Canizares in goal, a back four of Aketsi, Burrows, Scalvini, Everton Antonio, Steve Larson in Ireland, Garnacho, Moniz and Ilunga. And there's not a lot that needs doing to it, I don't think. We just need some of the younger players to get a year older and not be so bottly. Player of the year went to Ilunga. He won Player of the Year and Young Player of the Year. He was also top scorer, got most Man of the Match awards and highest average rating. He's still only 22 years old. Canizares, we know, got signing of the season. Moniz, most assists with 21. And Burrows, best pass completion. Look at all these competition awards, though. So Ilunga won FIFA Best Under 21 Player. Ilunga also, I mean, a lot of these are Ilunga. He also won the Northwest Football Awards Rising Star of the Season and the English Players Young Player of the Year and the Champions League Golden Boot and the Champions League Young Player of the Season. Ireland won the Ballon d'Or. Moniz won European Golden Boy and Canizares won FIFA Best Men's Goalkeeper. We've got quite a good team going on here. And interestingly, with Canizares being the best goalkeeper in the world, last time I checked on here, he's not even the best goalkeeper at Manchester United. So I think Milivojevic needs to take over the course of the summer, because he's apparently a better goalkeeper. There's your all-time best 11. Still playing the pervert system. Hopefully one more year we'll get into a back four, the way football teams are supposed to play. And we don't need to worry about where they're all playing now. Money-wise, we've got a decent budget, but not an enormously huge budget like we've had in previous seasons. Obviously, we've spent a lot of money over the last few years. We've got 130 million still to spend and £1 million a week spare in the wage budget. So there's lots of flexibility. We're not able to make any changes because we haven't agreed season stuff yet, which let's just agree that. There you go. What have we agreed to there? We're going to qualify for the Champions League and reach the later stages of it. I mean, we've won the league the last 2 years. I think to say we're going to qualify for the Champions League should be a minimum expectation, but we should now be able to, show the kind of differences we can make to both of those budgets. I mean, 9 million a week on wage budget if we want it. We probably don't want it. We have already got a few players arranged to come in as well. Ivano Accolades is a Croatian international, 18-year-old centre-back who's 6'4", with loads of potential, 5-star potential. So he's going to join us and he's going to be joining us young enough to become homegrown at club. as is Stian Uland, who's an 18-year-old Norwegian attacking midfielder. Again, with bags of potential, also joining us at 18, so he'll be young enough to become homegrown at club. And then we've got Lalo de la Torre, who is a 19-year-old Mexican international who's just won the Next Gen. We've done quite well with buying Next Gen winners, so we've got another Next Gen winner coming in. He doesn't actually scout as well as I'd hoped, but he's relatively cheap. And did I mention he won the Next Gen? And we've got this guy, Christian Philipp, who's joining us on a free transfer from Real Madrid. He's a German under-21 international. Again, loads and loads of potential. For some reason, was out of contract at Real Madrid. So we've just swooped in and taken him on a free transfer. So a few youngsters already coming in. In terms of what we actually need to do to the squad, goalkeepers, I think we're fine. We've got the best goalkeeper in the world and the guy who's better than him. So that works for me. Left back, we could probably still upgrade on. Aketsi is theoretically elite, but he's not like super elite, is he? Super duper elite. And Ayala is handy as a backup because he's homegrown at club. So we'd probably look to upgrade Aketsi and bring someone in over the top of him and maybe then move Aketsi on. At right back, I think we're fine with Antonio and Serrao. We've got Gibbons as well, who'll return from his loan at Arsenal. We certainly don't need to sign anybody here. In fact, what we probably need to do is decide which one of Antonio, Gibbons and Serrao we're going to sell for a big chunk of cash, because they're all potentially £100 million players. We just won't give the game time to all three of them. So one of them needs to leave permanently rather than just going out on wasty loans. At centre-back, we've got Memishi, Scalvini, Burrows, Boras, all four of them elite centre-backs. That'll do nicely. We've got the young wonder kid coming in as well. We don't need to do anything at centre-back. Defensive midfield, we've got Steve, we've got Gavi, we've got Team Rocket, who's going to be coming back from his loan at Roma. And we might move Gavi on. Gavi's fallen well down the pecking order. Similar situation with Mainu. If we're bringing Rocket back into the squad, he's homegrown at club, so we can let Mainu leave. And I think the calibre of clubs interested in Mainu really says it all about whether or not we should be keeping him in this squad. I suggest probably not. He's 28 now as well. I think this is the year that Mainu probably leaves, and then we could maybe bring in a youngster. Talking of youngsters, Ricky Pilbro has now made his England debut before his Manchester United debut. He's had 2 years on loan at Marseille. We need to get him integrated into our squad next year because he's another homegrown at club player, another academy boy. And if we're moving some of the academy boys on, we have to keep some academy boys around because we're Manchester United. We've also got Filieri, who we signed back in January as well, who we've not really used. We need to get him in there somehow and decide what we're doing with Herrera, who is 23 years old, Argentinian international, but well down our pecking order. And he's another one we could probably sell on for a decent profit. And then up front, obviously, we've got Ilunga, Moniz, Van der Winden, Endrick, Heilbronn. We don't need to sign anybody up there, do we? Unless somebody decides they want to leave. Similar situation on the left. I mean, Van der Winden's your obvious starter there. But if he were to go for big money and there's big clubs coming in for him, I wouldn't be against bringing in a natural left-sided player, although Endrick and Heilbronn can both play out there, as can Ireland, if that's the way to sneak Pilbro into the midfield on a regular basis. And then on the right, obviously Moniz. We've got the new boy coming in as well, who's well down the pecking order according to this. Garnacho will probably stick around because it's useful to have the homegrown at club players here. Naizinho, once again, has gone out on loan, not been quite as impressive in the Championship this time. So it might be the summer to sell him on. And Shea Lacey might well move on as well, as we've now got a few more homegrown at club players. We probably don't need to keep Lacey around anymore. He's well down the pecking order and we can get decent money. I mean, if Barcelona want to give me 60 million for him, we only need to keep 4 homegrown at club players around. And I think we've probably got plenty. So we've got Rocket, Lacey, Mainu. In fact, if we get Pilbro back up into the first team squad as well, where is he? So he moves into the first team squad. So I don't plan to loan him out. So with him in there as well, we've now got 6 homegrown at club players. We can let 2 of them go. And I think the 2 would most likely be Lacey and Mainu. And then we bring Rocket and Pilbro into the squad as direct replacements for him. And I think that works. There's not a lot we need to do in terms of signings. A lot of clearing out a big squad, keeping an eye on good young players, and swooping if an opportunity to swoop comes in, but don't expect another £500 million summer. I think our days of needing to do that are over. So our new youngsters have arrived, or most of them have. Has my director of football made an offer for Samu again? We'll get to that in a minute. I'm probably not going to be interested in that. But this is Euland, who's gone straight into the under-18s because he is 18. He is going to be able to be homegrown at club. It's hopefully something I don't need to worry about. If I'm still at Manchester United in 3 years, it means we still haven't won the Champions League. But one for the future, a little gift for whoever takes over from me. There we've got Lalo Della Torre, who is the reigning next-gen winner and apparently the best right midfielder we've got at the club, although a little bit way down the list as a right winger, which is where we're going to need to use him. So let's get him training to play that role immediately, because we obviously don't use a right midfielder. And then Ivano Yakolis is our 6'4", 18-year-old who will also become homegrown at club as long as we don't loan him out. Let's get them in, welcome them along. So we're just waiting for that Real Madrid guy to come in on the 1st of July. And then what is this? This is a different Samu. This is I mean, obviously not. Obviously not. My director of football has lost his mind. I don't even need to look if he's any good. He's 32. That is not the direction we're moving in as a football club. Still lots of money left. Still don't really want to sign anyone unless somebody decides they want to leave. I mean, Mainu wants to move to a bigger club and they're the clubs that are interested in him. So somebody needs a reality check. So if somebody like him decides they want to leave, we'll replace them. But other than that, I think the squad is good enough already. We were just unlucky last year. Well, we've made it through to the 1st of July. The only transfers we've done, Heilbronn has gone on loan for the season to Monaco. They're paying all of his salary. He only played 3 games for us last season, so hopefully he can go out and prove himself in the French league the way Ricky Pilbro has, because he has returned and is now going to be a proper part of my squad, to the point where I have offered out Sudakov. We're going to move Sudakov on. Pilbro is going to take over his spot in the squad. We've removed him from the loan list. 7 England caps now. Still never played a game for Manchester United, but he's a homegrown at club player, so quite handy to have him to just slot in. We're also trying to get rid of Herrera because he's just never going to be good enough, and that will free up some more midfield spots. Team Rocket, I would really like him to work out, but at the moment, we haven't got enough Premier League registration spots to fit him in. Obviously, with Sudakov and Herrera leaving, that opens up a spot for him. But it's really down to him or Gavi. I think we probably let Gavi go, although Gavi has the advantage of being able to play in midfield as well, which Rocket can't really. So we shall see. There's still nothing I particularly want to buy. I'm just hanging out, waiting for opportunities. Larson, by the way, legendary midfielder now, which is jolly nice. Have we got any other legendary players? I don't know if we do. We've got lots of elite, lots of wonder kid, world class. But Larson is a legendary midfielder, which it's all right, isn't it? We've got a legendary midfielder. Well, we're having a little bit of a clear out to make room for our young players. Our backup keeper, Peretz, has gone. Bob Doherty, who scored for Scotland against England in the Euros in the summer, he's gone as well. Sudakov's gone to Chelsea for 45 million. Herrera's gone to Newcastle for 35 million. And we are currently trying to smash the British transfer record for this winger, Thomas Strobel, German international from Bayern. He'd be quite nice to bring in. But the headline news is we're going to be finishing FM24 with some international management as well, because I am taking over from Eddie Howe as England manager. I don't think I've done international management in non-league to legend for many, 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 many years. Don't worry, it's not going to take over the whole series, but it'd be nice to win a World Cup to end non-league to legend, wouldn't it? So yeah, we're accepting that offer. Just checking I haven't resigned from Man United, have I? No, that would be a disaster. But there you go. I am the England manager. We'll see how that develops, shall we? No, I don't want a press conference. I don't do them at club level. I'm certainly not doing them at international level. Goodness me. You won't see England again until the next tournament, which is, I guess, the World Cup, because the Euros has just happened, I think. How did England get on at the... how do I even see how we got on at the Euros? I mean, we lost 5-3 to Scotland and then got knocked out by the Netherlands. So 2 years' time, I'll meet you at the World Cup. You don't need to know what goes on between now and then. Qualifiers are boring, but it gives us a fun thing to do at the end of the save, a World Cup with England. We have a new superstar. His name is Thomas Strobel, and he's already 5 stars of current ability. It is a Manchester United record signing, I think. It must be. Surely it is. I'm assuming it's a British record and a Manchester United record. It is. It's our record. How do I check if it's a Premier League record? Records. Do transfers appear on here? No. I mean, it's the most expensive one. We can skip back through. Oh, whoa. Okay. So Kobo went to Manchester City for 215 million. Fair enough then. Strobel's good though. He'll be in on the left-hand side. That front three of Ilunga, Strobel and Muniz is going to be a bit special. As a result of that, we've let Otter go to Lazio for £48 million. So we took a slight loss on him, but I can live with that. And our bank balance is still looking pretty healthy for us. Transfer budget, pretty healthy for us. We still need to trim the squad further. We've still got 3 right backs. We've still got 3 defensive midfielders, including Rocket, who I kind of want to be my backup this year. Mainu's still here. We still have 26 players we're trying to squeeze into a 25-man squad, although Nizinho might well be leaving as well. He's just 2 years in a row he's asked for a transfer and then got to the summer and be like, I don't want to leave after all. Well, let's just get him gone, make a profit on him and free up a squad spot. We're going all the way through to deadline day in this video, I think. We don't need to watch loads of early season matches, so we'll just keep going until the end of August. Well, Scalvini didn't want to renew his contract, so we've sold him. We've taken quite the hit on him as well. 167 million. I didn't pay that for him. Got 3 years out of him, sold him to PSG for 71 million. He's still only 29 years old, turns 30 in December, but we've got Burrows, we've got Memishi, we've got Boras, we've got the youngster that came in this summer, and we're trying to bring in this guy as his replacement in the squad. So I think it's fine. The transfer budget continues to get bigger and bigger. We're operating on quite the transfer profit this summer, despite breaking our transfer record. And there's quite a lot of players who've moved on. Nizinho has moved on as well. Now we can now finally fit Team Rocket into the 25 for the Premier League. We should be more than fine for Champions League as well, because we've got so many homegrown at club players. We never moved on Lacey or Mainu. Pilbro and Rocket are both now in the squad as well, so Champions League registration should be fine, I think. But I'm ready for the season to start. We lost the Community Shield on penalties. I just don't really like penalty shootouts. But fingers crossed we can get off to a winning start to the Premier League season. The media think we're favourites. We've got a lot of players in the Dream 11. Milojevic, Memishi, Burrows, Ireland, Ilunga, Strobel, Muniz, all in the Dream 11. Let's go and win let's have an invincible season this year, shall we? Now the transfer shenanigans are getting up and running. So we've sent Boras to Real Madrid on loan. He wanted more game time. We couldn't promise it to him, so he has gone there. We'd already got Bordalas in to replace Scalvini. If I'd have known he wanted to leave, I'd have kept Scalvini and just let him run his contract down. But we have also sold Zay Sarau, who's on his way to Barcelona for 58 million. His replacement, so that gets us down to 2 right backs, is a new left back. Giacomo Maestri is definitely my kind of left back. He's a winger who can play left back. 6 caps for Italy already at 22 years old, 4 stars of current ability. Look at that pace. That's a Kev left back if ever I saw one. And as you just saw, we're looking at bringing in Pau Kubasi as a panic buy 4th centre back option. We do have the youngster Accolades that we brought in back in the summer, but I don't know. It seems like a little bit of a risk going with him as our 4th choice centre back. Obviously, Steve can play there. Everton Antonio can play there. But he's only 5'8", and we only have Gibbons as another centre back now. So I think it makes sense to bring another centre back in. The other one I'm considering, who we are currently scouting, is Assetti, who I signed for Coventry. Yeah, we're going back to Coventry again. We signed for Coventry 2 years ago. He's now played for France twice. He'd be expensive. I need to find out if he's any good. So he is currently being scouted. We might go for him instead of Kabasi. but he would cost twice as much. But we should have money to spend once Thursday Sorrell money comes in, which should be now. We could probably just about afford a Settee if we decided we really wanted to. Well, that's annoying. We got to the end of the transfer window and Kabasi didn't agree to join us. He was kind of going to be a backup defensive midfielder for us as well, because on deadline day, we sold Gavi to Real Madrid. We're now short a midfielder. So he's gone to Real Madrid. That was always kind of part of the plan anyway. What wasn't part of the plan was them offering me £77 million for Benitez. So he's gone to Real Madrid as well. We've also loaned out Kuinov, who is another one who could have, if I'd have known Gavi was going and Kabasi wasn't coming in, we'd have kept this guy. All of it, I guess, has opened the door for Christian Philip to come into the first team squad, the guy who we signed on a free transfer from Real Madrid in the summer. So I guess he's the logical one because they're both attackers. So we move him up into the first team squad. I still think the first team squad is fine. We're possibly short a centre back, although we've got a wonder kid. So that's okay. We've obviously got we've now got too many left backs. We've got Maestri, Aketsi and Ayala at left back. At right back, we've sold Sorrell and now Everton Antonio's out for a month. So Gibbons is basically our only right back. Burrows and Ayala can both play there if need be. And of course, we were training Mainu to play there last season, and he hasn't left. So he could play there at a push. At defensive midfield, if Steve can't play, obviously we've got Team Rocket back. Larson could drop back. Burrows or Bordalis could. It's not a disaster. The squad is still a very, very strong squad, especially in the attack. Goodness me, we've got a lot of good attackers. Vieto, I wanted to get out on loan, but couldn't get any. I mean, he's got 5 caps for Argentina at 21 and can't get a game here. He's played 1 substitute appearance for us in 2 years at the club. And no one wanted to pay his salary to take him on loan, which is bonkers. So we might get him involved because we've sold Naizinho, we've sold Benitez. So I guess he is our exciting young attacker now, who's not Muniz. And by the way, Muniz has arrived this season. Look at him. And the season has started very, very well. We've not conceded a goal yet in the Premier League. We're scoring goals for fun. And of course, we are top. Manchester City already 6 points behind this. Long may it continue. And Bruno Muniz is the best player in the universe. He literally is the best player in the Premier League. And look at that beautiful Dream 11. Canizares, interestingly, has now made it in ahead of our other goalkeeper. But we've got the 2 best goalkeepers in the Premier League and a very handsome looking squad. We're actually in a positive bank balance. No debt at the club. Transfer debt is almost down to 0 as well. In fact, doesn't negative transfer debt mean we're owed money on transfers rather than the other way around? So I've assembled this squad without going bananas, going on the never, never. What is my net spend on my career now? £400 million net spend on the career. We'll deliver a Champions League this year. I mean, we're on a massive net profit for this season, which is jolly nice. And actually, despite the fact, theoretically, we look like we're a couple of players short. I mean, if we put Boras and Heilbronn down into the under-21s, we are still sat here with a first-team squad of 27 players. So we just had, Yacolis and Philip probably could just as easily drop down to the under-21s and we probably won't miss them. They're just really here because they can cover positions that we're a little short on. But a lot of these players can play in a lot of positions and I think we're going to be fine. So the plan from here, it's our 3rd season at Manchester United. We expect to win the league. We're not going to dwell on this season too much. We're going to crack on with it. We'll pick out a key Champions League game or 2. In fact, next episode, Manchester City in the league, Barcelona in the Champions League. Seems like an eventful little episode to see where we stand. And if you've enjoyed this as a transfer special, a long transfer special, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.